Hello and welcome back to Dark Readings News Desk. This is Michael Krieger, and with me today is Jason Brvenik. He's the CTO for NSS Labs. Jason, thanks for joining me today.
Thanks for having me.
So, operationalizing security. What is it? What does it mean? How does it fit in the big picture?
Technologies that companies have deployed don't necessarily integrate well. They don't expose their weaknesses well. Proving that something didn't happen is difficult. And operationalizing cybersecurity allows us fundamentally to integrate these technologies in a way that enterprises know the threats they're likely to face at the moment that they're not mitigating.
So, what's the unmet need that this kind of fills in?
The unmet need, and it's evidenced by the plethora of breaches we see happening all the time, is discovery of the things that your current defenses aren't handling. And the ability to surface both that they occurred, that you're likely to be exposed to them, and the things you need to look for in the absence of your security technologies handling it is an unmet need today that we can really improve upon.
So, how does this approach that NSS Labs takes different from others that are out there in the marketplace today?
Through our cyber advanced warning system, we're able to emulate an enterprise's environment and expose it to the same threats that the enterprise is seeing. With that and the understanding of the ability of the security products the enterprise has, we can identify the things that are readily handled by security, and the things that may get passed, and the things that you need to look for relative entirely to your environment.
You guys are well known for so many great technologies. You just recently announced CAUS 2.2. Could you tell me what that announcement was all about, how that is different from what was out there before?
Major enhancement in CAUS 2.2 is the addition of the API that allows you to pragmatically consume the information and distribute it within your environment and your technologies so that it's not a manual effort to respond.
So what kind of applications would you be integrating that with typically that you'd want an API into it?
It very much depends on the enterprise and the tool sets they have for security. It could be everything from integrating with an EDR product that has full visibility into what's happening to calling logs and understanding whether or not you've even been exposed to something, to looking at configuration management systems and whether or not you're able to remediate it otherwise.
Okay. So let me ask you a question. There's just so much on IT and security professionals' plate these days. The amount of threats is growing, and the way people and the mobility and all of the issues. What are three things you could recommend to security professionals to reduce their burden and let them focus on the bigger picture?
Cyber is a kitchen table conversation these days. It's happened at the presidential level.
Exactly.
It's all the rage. And the reality is there's a lot of technical debt out there. Consumers themselves can pay more attention to the devices they use and the fundamental security premise designed into them. That's a little esoteric for just your average Joe. So you can take one step further and ensure that your updates are always applied. Always. If they get a little pop-up, I know it's inconvenient, you have to save a document and then reboot, do it. There's a reason it's there. Additionally, remember that the computer in your pocket is a computer in your pocket. It has full access to your life and what you do. Be mindful of the things you put on that and the information you share through that. And learn to use a password management tool. Learn to maintain different passwords for different places. Don't use the same passwords everywhere. Definitely don't use the same password for your bank account that you use for your grocery shopping, right? And those three things are very easy for everybody to do. As security practitioners, we can take it a step further and we can start paying attention to the technologies that we're forcing our users to use, how usable they are in order to have security, and hopefully make it so that users aren't forced to bypass security in order to get their job done.
Do you see the onus of security falling more on the individuals and less on the security professionals?
No. Individuals certainly have a role to play. The security professionals have a role to play as well. It for me, would be an ideal, in the old days, if your computer didn't work, you called the help desk, and the help desk was the first place to go.
Right.
To me, it would be an ideal if we can build a culture in security where when you're having a problem with your computer, the second call you make is to your friend in security or the security team, and you can just express to them what's happening, and they can take a fresh look and a different look than break fix that we get out of the help desk on what's really happening here, and instruct everybody on the different behaviors they could take, and thank you for calling. All right. I would love that we could get security elevated from highly technically focused controls and remediations to conversational best practices. Don't click on this link. Here's how you assess if something matters.
What do you see as the next big thing that NSS Labs is going to focus on?
Right now, we're very well focused on operationalizing cybersecurity, automating the discovery of active threats so that we can ensure that we are providing relevant information, and ensuring that we help bring a more honest view to the true capabilities of security products in the market. There's a wide variety of capabilities out there that may or may not be good for you, and we think we have a good position and insight to be able to advise people on the right ones for them.
Well, I really enjoy coming to this show because I end up scared to death when I leave, and it's probably a good thing. Jason Brvenik, NSS Labs, thank you so much for your time. Appreciate your being with us. For Dark Reading News Desk, this is Michael Krieger. We'll see you next time.